We have an item for a special meeting of the Chula City Council. I'm going to move for a continuance on this.
I'll second that.
Do I have a second? I do. All those in favor, please say aye.
I want to speak to the continuance. I want to talk about the continuance. Okay? Thank you. We just heard about bold, leading by example. I think we've got some exhibits that we'd like to share, and I guess we could keep putting this off, but it's not going to go away. So I think that it would make sense at this point to go through this issue.
We have, I think, some slides. I have some slides.
I'm going to recognize Mr. Rendon. Mr. Ramirez.
Madam Mayor, when I prepared the item for tonight's agenda, it was prepared and disseminated in ample time for review or discussion. We just have information that's before us tonight. I remember my colleague saying earlier, Mr. Ramirez indicating we need to look in detail, we need to look in advance.
What are we afraid of, Mr. Rendon? Why can't we look at this information tonight?
Mr. Ramirez, you do not have the floor. Please allow Mr. Rendon to complete his comments.
And I believe that their interests and concerns in this topic is just as genuine as mine was on the last topic. But I would like to look at that information and just not how you do good public business of presenting items, which I saw for the first time this afternoon.
Mr.
And so
Castaneda, please allow Mr.
I
Rendon
will
to complete his comments.
call for the question.
Well, no, I want to speak to this because Mr. Rendon talked about
Mr. Castaneda.
He talked about good. This item was continued. It was not placed on the agenda.
Mr. Castaneda, we have an order of comments, and the next person who will be recognized is Mr. McCann.
I just, again, think that we had a pretty good meeting tonight. I think that we all collectively made some very, very difficult decisions. Again, I want to thank staff, and I just don't think that we should be ending this meeting tonight with a food fight. Ultimately, again, I think Mr. Castaneda is correct. This is not going away. I'm still open to cutting and looking at the budget for the mayor and the council, but again, the hour is late. I think we should move forward. The main part was that we got the major, we went through $7.2 million worth of cuts, and so let's go ahead and move on.
Can I speak now?
Mr. Ramirez?
I will yield to Mr. Castaneda and then take the spot after
Mr.
him.
Castaneda?
Thank you. Again, good public discourse is very difficult to achieve sometimes. When we met as a council last month in the budget workshop, we ended with a vote of 3-2 to continue this item and move it to the next budget workshop, which is this workshop. For some reason, that item never made it to the workshop agenda. I don't know, did people forget? I don't know who's responsible for putting things on the agenda, but we had a council majority vote to put this matter on. And now we're not discussing it because it was last minute. We had to work to get this thing put on. I thought when a majority of the council votes to do something, it's supposed to be done. The fact is that we've got $1.6 million left to shore the budget gap. And we have, I think, a very responsible and a very reasonable proposal to eliminate about 15% of that budget gap. And I think that we have good data that basically justifies what we're doing, and it really isn't that significant. And Mr. Rendon, you're right, we do have to be bold. We have to look at the job we need to do, and we can't keep putting it off. We're going to be talking about cutting library hours, we talk about this, and essentially what we're going to tell the people at Chula Vista, we can't make a decision on cutting, frankly, money that we don't even spend. So I find this to be extremely distasteful. I think that essentially it's not going to go away. And, I would just move that it be placed, and I would hope that the city clerk understands that it be placed on the next budget agenda. And you will have the information, Mr. Rendon, well in advance. You have it now, and I hope you review it.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. I'm going to speak to the motion. Mr. Castaneda, the worksheets that were provided to the entire members of the City Council identified a dollar figure, and I find that your comments and Mr. Ramirez's comments in attempting to accuse our staff of having manipulated that 10% figure into a 5% figure, totally bogus. We can talk about how many cuts we need to make. It's not gone unnoticed that council members want to have more for themselves and are willing to take from one member in order to accomplish that. We do have a budget subcommittee. The budget subcommittee is prepared to sit down and to take a look at the full council mayor budget. I have plans at this point to propose that the environmental policy consultant position be frozen. That's a savings of approximately $120,000, so they're very real. I'm going to ask that we vote on this and that we put it on the record.
Madam Mayor,
I'm going to call for the vote.
yeah, well, Madam Mayor, you're not allowing me to speak.
And I'm going to allow you to speak after we vote.
Well,
Please
I
vote.
mean, I think, Madam Mayor, I
Please
think
vote.
that it's highly irregular for you not to allow a member of your council to speak on an item, especially on an item that affects you and your budget.
Mr.
This
Ramirez,
is something that is highly irregular,
it may well be
and we need to be
irregular.
able to get to the bottom of it. Mr. Rinden brought a resolution that painted a picture that is false, that is misleading, that is unfair, that it has a lot of problems, and you are not letting this item be fully vetted in public right now. And why? Let's do it. Let's look at it. We have the documentation. If after you look at the item you decide you do not want to support it, then you don't have to. But why hide this?
Mr.
Let's let
Ramirez,
the public.
this is not a matter of hiding any
Well, then let's
item.
look at it, Madam Mayor. Let's not call for the question. We need to look at it.
Mr. Castaneda said that you would make cuts. You have not made those cuts.
Madam
Mr.
Mayor, we're going to show you
Mr.
how
Ramirez,
we're going
I
to show you
have-
how we're going to make those
Mr.
cuts.
Ramirez.
And you are not allowing this item to go forward because this item affects you personally and your budget. And so it is unfair. It's an abuse of your responsibility and your authority of running a meeting to be able to limit the discussion and limit the public access to this information. You need to make this information available. What are you afraid? What do you need to hide? It won't take more than 5 minutes, and we can get over it, and we need to look at this. People need to understand what it is we're talking about, and you should allow that to go forward.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez. I am not afraid of anything, much
Let's
less.
show it. We're prepared.
Mr. Ramirez,
We have the
Mr.
slides.
Ramirez, you have interrupted me now 3 times.
Well, you are not allowing this proceeding to go through in a fair and equitable way. And you need to be interrupted because you are not playing fairly here. There's nothing fair about this. We have some information that we want to share with the public so that they are not left with the impression that Mr. Rinden has left. Okay? And we need to be able to look at this. You should have no fear of this, Madam Mayor, and because this affects your budget personally, you should not block this. Let the public see this.
Mr. Ramirez, I'm going to ask that you prepare whatever comments you and Mr. Castaneda seek to offer us and give your council colleagues time to take a look at your proposal.
We're prepared to do it right now. We're prepared to do it right
We
now.
have that information in front of us.
I have it right here.
10 minutes till midnight. There's a motion on the floor and a second.
Madam Mayor, we have the ability to show this. We have the ability to put it on the screen. Every member of this council has this item. It's not a very complicated set of documents. They're very easy to see and understand. We need to make this information open and available to the public and let the public decide. Mr. Rinden has painted a picture and implied by his motion that we have not been on board with cutting our personal budgets. What I want to show and what I want to demonstrate is the reality of the matter. Let's clear it up. I think you owe us that. It would be the fair thing for you to do, is to allow us the opportunity to show the information.
Frankly, Mr.
What are we hiding here?
At your allegations, I'd like to refer this to the city attorney's statement, who has reviewed the resolution and all of the backup documents that we have already voted on, and asked her publicly to state whether there was any inaccuracies in that report.
That's fine, and I will
Because
support
you keep saying-
I would support you in that, Mr. Rinden, because I want the truth to come
Don't
out.
keep saying that there are...
I want the truth to come out. Why
That's
can't we
exactly right.
have?
Don't keep saying there are any windows or not truthful.
Well, I want to be able to
That document that I
demonstrate.
prepared was fully correct, and I'm asking the city attorney to opine on that.
You've made an implication that.
No, I'm not
There's-
making
there-
any implication at all. It's the statement fact. There's not anything in that document that
Mr.
is
Rinden,
not
what can-
factual, and I'm asking the city
Can
attorney
we
to opine.
have the 5 minutes to show the documents and to show the numbers that illustrate this, or are you going to insist on blocking this?
I'm not insisting on blocking
Well,
it.
then let's go forward.
I'm appalled at the fact
There's
that...
there's a motion on the floor and a second. All those in favor of continuing this meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
So the meeting is hereby adjourned.
We did not get to show the information then, Madam Mayor. Thank you very much for allowing us to.
6 p.m.